Hello, everyone. What's going on? Welcome or welcome back. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing good. Just checking everything since I literally haven't done any of this in like 50 days. But I hope everyone's doing good. Today we're going to be ranking all the legends and the weapons after the mid-season Apex Legends update for season 25. This does include some big Watson Vantage and a couple other changes for the legends. Not a ton really changed, but a couple of really big changes. And then also we had some attachments and weapon changes that we're going to talk about. And as always, the game has changed a little bit since the launch of the season. So hope we're doing well. Welcome. We will start probably in like 5 minutes. We'll just give people a second to get in here so I don't just rip it right off the bat. But how we doing? It's been a minute. Have we been enjoying season 25 of Apex? Hopefully everything sounds good. I kind of moved my whole setup since I made content last. So let me know if I need to change the volume of anything. I don't really think I can increase my mic volume, but well, Zombie Starboy Fresh, what's going on? Welcome. How has Apex season 25 been for everyone? I feel like season 25 has been like so for me. I enjoyed Sparrow at the launch. I don't think the post season launch has been as good though. If I'm being honest, but I haven't played a ton in the past like month. I've played a little bit, but um, yeah, kind of been just doing other things, playing other games, living life. Can't play Apex because of lag, really. I know servers and stuff were kind of like a big like talking point for the season. I know they went to Amazon servers like last season or maybe at the start of the season, which I thought was going to help quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's still work to be done. I think we'll begin with the weapons when we do start. The weapons are kind of hasn't changed as much as Legends, so we'll kind of get those out of the way before we go into characters. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Solo queue is dog. Yeah, honestly, that right there, that comment, that is why I have not played as much. Is like playing solo has been just abysmal. It was so bad at the start of the season, it just turned me off completely. Trying Vantage now, her buff is amazing. Yeah, Vantage definitely feels like way more usable. I will say about all the changes in general, just like a quick kind of overview of my thoughts of the season 25 mid-season buff or patch. I feel like the meta didn't really change that much. Some characters are definitely, I would say, like more meta than before. But a lot of the characters that did get changes are just like a little bit more usable now, or they just like slightly tuned down their power. I don't think anything like, with the exception of maybe Watson and Vantage, I don't think anything really changed to the point where it's like, wow, you got to be using this person. Yeah, but yeah, I haven't played too much Apex. Honestly, just like solo queue is pretty rough. And I feel like this season, unlike last season, the modes that they have been doing, like the LTMs, like I really enjoyed 3 strikes and a couple of the respawn modes last season. That was awesome. It kept me playing. Just not like quite the same this season. Volt is like C or B, I think. Interesting. I feel like the Volt is definitely on the lower end of the energy guns, like and we're gonna talk about it more, but we're kind of just free flowing right now. But like the Devotion Nemesis and maybe even a little bit of the L-Star, but really Devotion Nemesis are good. There's not much reason to take the Volt these days. It's still a solid gun though. Count got wiped, so you're on a level 8 account right now. I've been waiting for this vid, so I know who to buy. Well, you can always use Legends in the firing range too. You need to. R99 S tier, yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to give it away, but yeah, yeah. Volt's in a weird place. Jelly, what's going on? For sure. I guess we can just. I was gonna like kind of chat it out for 15 or so minutes, but we could probably just rip it, right? Just get right into it. Just make sure I did all my notifications, let people know we're live. I did Twitter. Let's see, Discord. Discord got reach. I think we're pretty much good. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna do my best to give you guys this kind of quick and straight up. I'll probably do like 20 to 30 minutes per tier list because we're gonna talk about it with you as we go on. So it's a little bit longer than my like seasonal launch. But starting with the alternator. The alternator for me is kind of like eh. Actually, hold on. I'm not gonna do an E tier. Let's get rid of E tier. E tier, and do we want to change the colors? Do like make colors a little bit more varied. Do a little blue. See, we'll do green. Blue. All right, I should have done this before I went live, but you know that's okay. So alternator, off the drop, honestly, it's like high A tier. Long term though, game, I'm gonna probably say it's really just like a B tier gun. It doesn't have the same time to kill or overall like use as like P20s, R9, even like Volt Devotion. Um, it's just not going to be as competitive like at the end game when people have all those like high TTK guns or low TTK guns that are like kitted out. So off the drop, easy A. After like that first third of the game, probably got to drop it. But I'm gonna put it in B because it's all around pretty reliable. If you're like not as good with your aim, definitely this is a gun you should look at if you want like an SMG with a little bit more mobility. 3030 still gonna be S tier for me. And if you are unaware, the 3030 had a nerf of the uncharged damage going down to 80 from 86, and the charge damage going down to 120 from 130. And that was really just the skull piercer headshot damage. 3030 and G7, it kind of like depends on how you like want to play the game. For me, they're pretty comparable. I like both. I like, you know, it kind of depends if you want something more forgiving, that's going to be the G7. If you want something that's going to have a better shot to like get them down in one shot, the 3030 is going to be the better gun. In terms of like high S, low S, I don't know if I can really say that. And also, I don't know if you really need to use the 3030 if you're like pubbing out, but like in terms of the overall game, and that is worth mentioning. These rankings, guys, are not really mode specific. It's just like general power, but it's definitely not. This is definitely not a competitive ranking. So like ALGS, I'm not taking into account any of that because honestly, in the ALGS, there's like 10, like 5 to 8 S tier guns, and everything else is like F tier. So, but 3030 very good. Can't really go wrong. Again, just depends on your playstyle if you want 3030 or G7. I think if you're like struggling with your aim a little bit, G7. Otherwise, 3030 is gonna be a little better. Car is a little bit of an odd one. Since the R9 got some buffs, there's not as much reason to take the car. I don't think I can really say the car is like a B gun, just simply because it does have like mag flexibility, ammo flexibility, and the time to kill is not bad. It's definitely better than the alternator, but it's not as good as the R9. The car hasn't had any changes in a while. What are the accelerator guns right now? It's like the Flatline Mozam, I think. Let me try to. I just want to make sure I'm not, because if it has accelerator, that kind of, yeah. So accelerator guns right now, in case you're wondering, they removed it from the Devotion, Mastiff, Bocek, Sentinel. Right now it's Havoc, Flatline, Mozam, Beak. So only 3 of them. But car is definitely like more forgiving than the R9, a little bit more reliable probably. So yeah, I don't know, not bad, just not as good as a couple of the other options. That's gonna be the case for a lot of these guns. All right, charge rifle. So charge rifle is probably going to be one of my only D tier weapons. And it's not necessarily bad at what it does. Like if you want that long range, like trolling, like kind of just the gun to drop people really quickly, I think the charge rifle can be obviously a lot of fun and pretty good, but it's just a very awkward gun to use. It's just not as like stable as a longbow, Sentinel, 3030, G7. Um, and obviously, all these guns come down to what you as an individual player can take care of, like take full advantage of. So if you like that type of long range play style, I could see it being C or B. But in terms of like the overall game, there's just not the game's just not really meant for like this type of play style right now. Maybe that's being too hard. Maybe C tier is a little bit more fair. I don't know. Titan rifle, Titanfall charge rifle, yeah, definitely. Trying to see what I had it. I had it as D tier at the start of the season as well. Yeah, I don't know. What did I have under? I had P20 and Mosam single version at F tier at the start of the season. I think we'll leave it in D tier for now. We'll come back and like maybe revisit it. But EVA 8, I'm gonna slightly put over the charge rifle in C. Some people really like the updated version of the EVA where it shoots faster and does less damage. I am not one of those. I feel like the EVA is honestly one of the hardest guns in the game to use consistently right now. That could just be my own skill based no problem. Maybe I just have a skill issue, but like there's nothing worse than when you take out the EVA now and you're hitting like sixes and you use all your ammo and then you got to reload. So I don't think the EVA is worth anyone's time. I would rather have massive. I'd rather have single Mozam. I'd rather have double Mozam. So yeah. Can you answer my question? Do you tier legends by abilities or gameplay? I'm not sure what that question is. Do you tier legends by abilities or gameplay? Don't know. I'm not. Can you reframe the question? Anyway, so yeah, I don't think the EVA is worth using right now. P20 is going to be easy S tier. Obviously, I'm talking about the akimbo version. Single version, I actually think is like a D probably. There's not a lot of reason to use single version P20 these days, but the P20s are definitely not like I used to have God tier rating previous seasons. They're not that anymore, in my opinion, but I think they are still pretty solid. I think I would rather have like an R9, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But P20s are still very reliable. I am happy that their skill ceiling and like how their power ceiling really is a little bit lower. But P20 is very good, and of course, again, has to be a Kimbo version. Let's see. Flatline. At the start of the season, I put the flatline in A tier. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I do think it's better than the car. The flatline had no changes, but it does have the accelerator stock now. P20 is A tier because you need laser sight. I can see that for sure. But flatline, I'm gonna say A tier. Like maybe if you're pubbing and you're running around, it's probably S. But in terms of like rank pub combo of like the gun, it's just not like if you're at like 30 to 50 meters and you're going up against a G7 or a 3030, you're just gonna get absolutely slaughtered. If the G7 and 3030 weren't quite as good as they are right now, maybe the flatline would be a little bit more competitive. And same thing with like the Nemesis. Like the Nemesis is just a little bit better at farther ranges. It has I'm pretty sure the Nemesis has a better time to kill than the flatline. But yeah, if you're pubbing, this is probably S tier. But otherwise, I'm gonna leave it in A. G7, we kind of already talked about this, but it's right there with the 3030 for me. It's like hand in hand. You know, if someone's using a 3030 on your team, maybe you take G7 to split up your ammo type. Maybe you run G7 and P20 to have like double light. But G7, not a lot I can really say. Very easy to use. If you kind of have a terrible trigger finger, maybe that's a problem. You could go 3030. But you really can't go wrong with the G7. I will say for me, I can't use the G7 with no optic. I don't know why, but the iron sights I just am atrocious with. You meant abilities, usefulness, or just the character's passives like Revenant, Climbing, or Ash's Dash? So I rank the legends in the game based on their entire kit. So I take into account all their abilities and how they like stack up in the current meta of the game. So to answer your question, it's a little bit of everything. Bocek. So the Bocek, when I ranked it at the start of the season, was really low. I think I had it in C tier. No, I had it in B. Actually, I think I had it in C tier, and then they buffed it right before I released my weapon tier list. I think I put it in B. Just so you're aware, if you haven't been staying too in tune, and these are previous season buffs, but the explosive arrow and hit damage was increased to 55 from 40 on the bow check. That was at the start of the season. They increased the fire rate, and the max charge damage was increased to 65 instead of 55. I'm gonna keep the bow check in B tier. I don't think any of the changes were good enough to make it like really competitive with these guns. And honestly, if I have a flatline or a nemesis or something, I'm going and I see someone with a bow check, I'm not really too concerned. I do really like that the bow check is like kind of a more like stealth option to the game. It can be really annoying and sometimes even difficult to tell where you're getting shot from if there's a lot of people around. But in terms of the Bocek coming out of the care package for the first time in like 3 years and it being back on the ground, I'm pretty disappointed with the status of the Bocek. I think they could buff the damage a little bit. It's kind of odd. So the Bocek fully charged the 65, whereas the 30/30 does like 80 or something, right? Where is it? Yeah, chart. Oh, that's headshot though. I don't know. Maybe it's very similar. The bow check is a high skill weapon. I do agree, Jelly, but we'll keep it in B tier for now. I don't think it's any better than that. Havoc was C tier at the start of the season for me. It did get a buff pretty quickly, much like the bow check. And this was a previous hotfix. They improved the recoil. The recoil was really bad, and the damage was increased by 1. I don't think it's any better than B tier right now, though. It's probably better than these guns. It could be A, maybe. The problem is with the Havoc is like it has too much recoil. It's not going to be as good at range when you're going up against these marksman guns or even a Nemesis. And then if you're in close range, like I kind of would rather have P20s or R9. The Havoc's just in a weird spot right now. I'm actually okay with it not being as good as it was when it was in the care package and previous to the care package. I just think the Havoc um, is lacking a little bit. Havoc A tier because it has accelerator. Does it have accelerator right now? Oh yeah, they did add that. Oh man, that's tough. Maybe it is an A tier then. Yeah, the accelerator stock does matter. It's not as the accelerator stock is not as big of a deal as it was like a couple seasons ago, but yeah, maybe A tier is fair. Like low A, like an A minus. I think you've convinced me. Let's leave it in A for now, just because the accelerator stock. I do think that matters a little bit, especially due to the whole like mag size and the time to kill isn't too bad. Hemlock at the start of season, I had an S tier. That actually might have been a little bit of a misplay on my part. I think I'm gonna put the Hemlock at a high A. This tier list is really neither ranked or pubs. It's kind of just like a mix of the overall game. I'm kind of calling out certain parts of the game when I think it's like better in pubs or better in ranked. But yeah, at the start of the season, I had the Hemlock in S. I just don't think the Hemlock in terms of burst is as good. They did reduce the burst fire delay, so it shoots faster now. Unfortunately, I just don't know if it's as competitive. It's like the problem with guns that are pretty good all around is like they don't win out against anything specifically. So if I'm going Hemlock versus Nemesis, I'm going to lose. If I'm going slower like Tapfire, long range, Hemlock versus G7 or Hemlock versus 30/30, I'm going to lose. If I'm close range like Hemlock, Hipfire versus Flatline, I'm going to lose. If you don't like Marksman, you want an assault rifle, pretty good. Faster rate of fire is nice. Yeah, not competitive because of Nemesis. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at A. I had an S at the start of the season. That was just not. I had higher expectations, and I think I was disappointed. Me personally, I would put the 30-30 in A because the 30-30 skill piercer got nerfed, and now it's still easy to put damage, but the DPS is much less compared to G7, especially when you're hitting. That's valid. I think the 30-30 still just has enough like kick in terms of like a one hit potential that I want to keep it. Like that headshot potential is pretty good. But I do agree with what you're saying. Next up, Kraber. Kraber is definitely S tier. Um, if you followed me for a while now, I have always said like Kraber when it wasn't one hit headshot was A, just because you need to have like a one hit potential with a sniper for it to be actually worth it. But now that it can do a one shot headshot, I think S tier is pretty fair for the Kraber, and it's kind of like the most what's the word? It's the most 0 to 100 gun. Like if you have a Kraber and you get a headshot when you're kind of like getting pushed, and like this gun has the biggest like play potential to turn things around if you're good with it. Devo should get its own S plus tier or something. Yeah, I kind of agree. There probably should be like a god tier. Maybe we'll add that. But yeah, Kraber's incredible. So obviously it's a little bit harder to get as care package gun, but yeah. L Star is kind of like a little odd right now for me. I'm probably gonna put it in B tier, just simply for a couple reasons. One, it's an energy gun, and I'd rather have a handful of other energy guns. Two, it's a LMG, so that just means slower handling and all that compared to like a Havoc or a Volt or a Nemesis. And yeah, I don't know. Not too. There's not really a lot that the Devo does that the other guns can't do. Devo's trash when isn't turboed. I mean, every pro player right now pretty much uses the Devo, so I don't really know if I would say it's trash. It obviously does take like time to get it kitted, but if you're playing the game and like pushing people and like actually playing the game, not just like sitting in a corner, then yeah. So I don't know, but we can all be nice to each other in chat. We don't need to yell at each other and try to flex our diamond ranks. Diamond 2, Diamond 3, Diamond 4. Not much difference there, guys. Let's calm down. So, L star, B tier. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you feel differently. Longbow. Longbow had no changes. I had the longbow in B tier at the start of the season. I think that's probably a pretty fair rating. I will say the longbow is like the only gun that can kind of compete with the longer range meta. I just don't really love that it's a sniper. I don't know. Maybe it is more like an A. What do you guys think, longbow? The longbow sentinel are really difficult to rank right now. Maybe we'll do both those right now. I think I'd rather have the sentinel still because it has higher one shot potential. I think I'll leave the longbow in B tier. Yeah. I would say the Hemlock is my S tier gun, but maybe you're going too far. I mean, that's fair. Honestly, again, I said this a couple times, but any of these guns, guys, like if you are a master with anything like this, like the gun can be higher ranked. It really depends on you and like how good you are with specific weaponry. Everyone plays the game a little bit differently too. Some people play more aggressively. Some people play more like long range oriented, slower. And like that's the case. Like like charge rifle D tier is gonna be more like CB probably. If you're playing like more long range again, longbows could be more like AB. So yeah, definitely depends on playstyle. More like B for the longbow, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there too. I don't think there's much reason to use the longbow right now. The only thing the longbow like the advantage is you can throw a sniper optic on it, but I always say like the point where you're putting a 6x or 4 to 8x on it and you're hitting people, there's not really a lot of reason like to shoot people at that far away. So but yeah, I don't know. I miss season 2 Apex Legends like longbow when this was just like the meta and it was having an ammo gun. Is the car better than the R9? I think the car is a little bit easier to use. I don't think that it's better than the R9 though. Just simply TTK like R9 shoots faster and kills faster. Longbow's just a worse repeater. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we're kind of like on the same page here with the longbow. Sentinel, I put a little bit higher than the longbow. Oh my god, excuse me. I'm gonna put it like in the middle here. And just so you guys know, I generally think like the guns that are farther left are a little bit higher rated. I mean, they are all in the same tier, so take that as you will. But the longbow or the sentinel, excuse me, has the best potential to one shot someone unless you have Kraber. So, and I think if you charge up a longbow off the drop iron sight, it's like actually pretty good. You headshot someone, you can drop them down right away. Uh, and honestly, I'm not really ranking this list on fun, but Sentinel is a lot of fun to use in pubs if you can actually make use of the gun. If you're not getting 3-stack preds running at you, I think the Sentinel is quite a bit of enjoyment to be had there. So I'm gonna put an A. 150 plus headshot on gray armor, awesome. 150 plus headshot on blue armor is actually still really good too. You're putting them down to like 15 health, but I'm gonna put it at A. Maybe if you're later on in the game, it's more like B, but earlier on, I think it's definitely a solid A. I still would probably drop this for any of these marksman guns. So, we have a few shotguns here. I don't know if I want to do them all at once, but Massive just had a little bit of a buff this season, the mid-season. Let me see. It was, I think, the hipfire spread. New ADS firing animation returns the weapon to the center of the screen sooner. If fire at the max speed, the massive optic never fully returned to the center of the screen, making target acquisition difficult. It's not really a buff, it's just a visual change. I'm still going to put the massive in A tier. Low A, I think it's better than the Havoc. It's not going to be competitive in terms of like TTK, or if you're going straight up in like a one-on-one with an R9, or someone has an R9, someone has P20, someone has car, you're gonna lose out. But I think the like utility that Mastiff brings to the game is pretty good. Your ability to like pop shot damage and keep your downtime to a minimal, I think is good. It's like more of a team fighting gun. And if you're not an SMG user or like close range AR user, like this is kind of it. Right now, like there's not a lot of alternates for close range. Just the meta of the game is very specific right now to like P20 R9. But Massive not bad. I love the peak shots. Yeah, again, like exactly what you're saying is the Massive's like very unique to your playstyle. So if you don't play in a way that is powerful for shotguns, like the peak play style, or just like overall understanding and using cover in your terrain, then this is not going to be as good. But yeah, only bubble fighting shotgun right now for sure. Mozambique's no buff, but they did have the accelerator stock put on. So I do think Mozams are probably the alternate to the Mastiff, maybe a little bit worse. A or B. I'm trying to think if I would. So when I rank these, I'm trying to think like, would I use the Mozam more than these guns? I would. Would I use the Mozam more than the Havoc? Probably. Yeah, and that is a good point with actually even the Mozam and the Mastiff. They're kind of like legend specific. If you're like a Newcastle, a Lifeline, a Gibraltar player, they are pretty good. They could like be higher for the legend. I'm trying to think of the Mozams. I like don't use the Mozams enough to really know. Maybe that is a sign that they're a little bit lower. I kind of would love if they buffed the mag size of the Akimbos again. Akimbo Mozam S tier. I have a bunch of like S tier, B tier. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. You prefer having the eBay over double Mozam? Ooh, not me. I think we'll put them in bottom A for now, guys. Again, we'll revisit this at the end, see if we want to change anything. I think the accelerator and just how usable they are in terms of like the Mosams have a pretty good total damage per mag. They're not competitive TTK wise, really, but I actually feel like the Mosams could have a little buff to what they were when they first got released, when everyone was using them. Like if you buff the mag size a little bit, I think they wouldn't be broken. They'd be a little bit more usable. Someone who uses shotguns a ton, I'd personally say A tier. Okay. We'll leave him an A for now. Again, like one tier difference. Also, like it depends on the player how you want to play. Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper. Straight up. I don't know. They're all kind of like very similar right now. I don't know. Is the PK just like the same as the Mastiff? The Peacekeeper didn't have any changes, right? I'm just trying to look quick. PK is A or S. Is Peacekeeper still in the care package? I'm like so out of tune. It is, right? I'm not crazy. What is even in the care package right now? Kraber triple take is, right? Is it just the Kraber triple take and Peacekeeper? Maybe it's throwing me for a loop because the Bocek's on there. The PK is still in the care package. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna put it in S tier then. I thought they removed it. I'm like so out of tune with what's what right now. I feel like I haven't used it, so maybe that's why it's like slipping from my mind. PK can two tap people. Yeah, we're gonna put the Peacekeeper in S tier. It's like it's come back to me now. The choke is actually insane right now in PK, and the range you can do like full hit is wild. So we're gonna put an S tier. Definitely better than Mastiff. I guess shotguns are actually like not too bad right now. I was thinking shotguns were a lot worse than they are. I think it's just because the S tier guns are so good that it's like it's almost like there's a gap between S and A. I don't know. But yeah, PK is very good. It can two tap people like you guys are saying in chat. 108 a shot is crazy. Headshot damage is very good. Fire rate's pretty good. Reserve ammo is pretty good. So yeah, we'll leave the PK and S tier. There's not too much to say there. Prowler had a little bit of buff this season, or split. Improved horizontal recoil and burst fire and full auto, reduced burst fire delay. So technically, the TTK is a little bit better since burst fire delay was reduced. I don't think it's any better than like a low A though. At the start of the season, I had the Prowler in B tier. And it had a buff, so bottom A. I think is fair for the Prowler. And just so you guys are aware, in terms of like, oh my god, I'm losing my voice already. I haven't spoken like this in 45 days. Just so you guys are aware, anything in A tier for me is like usable. It might not be the meta, but A tier is like the guns you can pick up and you're gonna be fine. S tier are obviously the guns that are favored, but yeah, A tier I think is good for the Prowler. S tier if you're using 4-3 linear. That's funny. It's like a mini hemlock. Yeah, can see that. I will say the Prowler off drop with no mag has always been really bad for me. But if you can get a gray, blue, purple mag, then it's pretty insane. I think people sleep on the Prowler a little bit in terms of how many like people you can kill with one mag. It can do like 400 to 500 damage in a singular mag if you get those upper mag sizes. I haven't used the Prowler too much since the season change or the mid season. So I am curious to see how the improved horizontal recoil in burst fire and full auto is. Previously, burst fire had much better recoil control and auto is worse. So I wonder if auto is a little bit more closer now to burst. If that's the case, it might feel more traditional in terms of like an SMG that you're using. Prowler's good, but the Hemlock shot shoots much faster after the buff. That's fair. Are you kind of like comparing, Carlos? Are you kind of comparing like the Hemlock burst fire, like close range Prowler burst fire? I wonder. So we'll leave the Prowler bottom A for now. R301 start of the season, I had it at high A tier, and I think the R301 is going to be pretty much in the same vein as like these. Why is the Scout better than 3030? Just tuned in. Honestly, they're pretty interchangeable for me. I know I said like I try to keep the better guns to the left, but honestly, these two are very close. And in that term, I would probably put the Peacekeeper more like here, but they're pretty interchangeable. But R301 is like not that competitive TTK wise with some of the guns that are going to be above it that we haven't ranked yet. But yeah, solid A R301 bread and butter for sure. If you're coming from any other game, I always say like the R301 is the gun you should use because it's like the most simple gun in the game. It's going to feel the most like any other gun. I actually think since they buffed the mag size and the damage last season when they did that with a lot of the guns, I think it's like pretty overall good. If these marksman guns weren't as good, this would be an S for sure. But for now, it just lacks a little bit of range and time to kill. R9, I'm gonna put the R9 like here. Easy S tier. It's probably better than the P20s right now. Very close. Is it better than the PK? I don't know. It's ground gun, so you're gonna be able to find it. So I will put the R9 right here at like upper S, mid S. I think in terms of like the game, obviously it's a faster killer than these, but there's not a lot to say about the R9. It's very good. You think they might have an old R31 and bring it back eventually? I could see that for sure. Didn't they just put the gun shield on the R301? Am I crazy? Yeah, gun shield can be used on the R301 now. That's kind of nice, but I don't think that really changed the gun's use in terms of power. Do you play in controller? I do. Yep. I feel like semi-auto guns are harder to hit on M&K. Really interesting. I always kind of thought like tap fire guns would be easier. It was the spray guns and like close range is harder on M&K. PK is better. That could be. Again, they're very close. R9's more accessible, so I'm going to keep the R9 a little bit higher, simply just for that reason. But I guess I don't know. They're so close in terms of how it really comes down to the player and how you guys want to play. PK outclassed the R9 unless you never made a shot. Yeah, I can see that. We'll keep them together. Rampage. I've always been a pretty big Rampage fan. I had it at A tier at the start of the season. I think that's still where I'm gonna put it. I actually think the Rampage is probably like somewhere around here. It could be better than the auto guns, the assault rifles. Rampage with thermites S tier without B tier. Yeah, I kind of agree. It kind of depends on the legend you're playing, and I don't really like the rank guns. Like you gotta use fuse per se, or you gotta use an assault character so you get the extra grenade slots. But I don't know. The Rampage is kind of like a 30-30 with a full auto capacity and a faster time to kill possibility in the close range. It's really weird. I feel like people don't talk about the Rampage as much. There's a lot of there's a lot of like talk that it could be S, I feel like. It does really require you to carry a couple thermites though. If you really want to be competitive with it. If you're not going to carry any thermites, I think it's still like at A, but it's probably a little bit lower. I don't know. I really like the Rampage, and I didn't like the Rampage when it came out. You don't really need an optic. The iron sights are incredible. Like the dot is super easy and legible, and you really don't need like a barrel. Magazine you don't really even need. Stock's always good, but I don't know. Rampage is like super sleeper right now. Just in general, though, I don't know. RE45, I'm gonna put down here in C tier. Ash with 4 thermites, damage is scary. Yeah, and that's another good thing with Rampage. Yeah, Rampage can kill 4 full red Evo with 1 mag. And I was about to say, the Rampage can do like 1,000 damage a mag, which is crazy. that you can do that much damage without reloading. If you're playing Rampart, if you're playing Fuse, Rampage is easily S. But for the whole game, I think I'll just leave it at A right now. High A. We'll put it like here. No, actually, I'll put it at the top of it. RE45. There's no reason to use the RE45 in the game right now. Faster. Let me redact that a little bit. The only reason to use the RE45 is faster handling because it's a pistol. But you're gonna lose out against R9 and P20s. The thing with the RE45 is a lot of people say this, like, it shoots very fast, but it actually doesn't shoot as fast as you might think. Its fire rate, I want to say, is like only 70% of an R9, and the damage per mag is pretty low. I mean, it's a pistol, so you're going to get what you're going to get out of the RE45. It's just not really that competitive right now. Again, it kind of comes down to how you want to play. I really like running Longbow and Sentinel with an RE45 sometimes, just because I can like really fastly swap to the pistol. But I don't think the RE45 is a gun that is that competitive right now. Spitfire. This is one that I was struggling a little bit as I was preparing. I had it at A at the start of the season. I think the Spitfire is still probably an A tier, but it's very close to B for me. No changes, right? No changes. I don't know. Like, you get the 50 round mag. It feels incredible when you're like really just going in with the Spitfire, hip firing, and like mowing people over. I don't really love the Spitfire in terms of long term in the game. Maybe it is B. Crouch hip fire in the Spitfire is fun. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Sleeping on the EVA 8 could be, possibly. I don't find a lot of value in the EVA over the other shotguns and a lot of the other guns in the game right now. I think we'll leave the Spitfire in A. It's like really solid in pubs. Like if you're not playing the game too seriously, I think in ranked it's gonna lose out against a lot of these guns above it. Like if you're close range, it's just not gonna kill as fast as the majority of these guns. And if you're long range, it's not gonna be as good as these guns. Good one running a long range weapon and playing defensively. Yeah, that's a very, very good way to put the Spitfire. We'll do low A. It'd be like an A minus, B plus for me if I had those pluses and minuses. So Nemesis is gonna be an easy S tier for me. I'm gonna put it right, like it's right here with the close range CT gank guns. I think it's the alternative to the G7 and the 3030. It is the best gun for an assault rifle user. If you don't want to use a marksman and you want the best assault rifle, the Nemesis is it. It's been the gun for it came out in February of 2023, season 16. What's it been? March, April, May, June. It's been 28 months now that the Nemesis has been the S tier weapon in the game. Maybe we should change the meta. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how long the Nemesis Hemi better than Nemi. That's fair if you feel that way. I don't feel that way personally. Just because Time to Kill, the Nemesis is way better. I'm actually wondering how long the R301 was the S tier gun. If you guys haven't played the game since the launch, like I've been playing nonstop Apex for 6.5 years now. The 301 was the gun for a long time, but I'm actually wondering if the Nemesis at this point has been better or has spent more time in the meta than the R301 did, because it has been a long time. I don't know. It's been a long time. There's not really a lot to say. Good hip fire, good long range, good close range, good mid range. Energy gun, maybe that gives it a little bit of a knock. Can't carry as much ammo, but I will say you can't really have 3 people on a squad running this and the Devotion, which we're going to talk about. But so, triple take, I think is absolutely busted. I think we'll just leave it with the Kraber. Yeah, it could be better than it's probably better than these guns actually even, but it's a care package gun. We'll just leave it at the bottom. Now maybe we'll just leave the care package guns at the bottom of the S tier just in general, just because it kind of depends on when you're getting them. But triple take is an easy pickup for me. If you're running either marksman gun, you pick up the triple take. The choke is absolutely nuts. Like it takes no time to get a pinpoint shot on people. So easy to use. Like it's super forgiving. The 3 pellet spread has always made the triple take like a brainlessly easy gun to use. Um, not not much to say about the triple take. Like I kind of like it being in the care package. Um, I don't know. These are our only care package guns. I kind of wish we had another gun in there. So yeah, I don't know. Triple take's just insane. If you don't have thumbs and you can't aim, use it. I think you're doing the Spitfire a little disservice. I pick it up over the past everything past the R301, although I'd put the flatline above 301. Spitfire feels deadly close to medium for you at least. That's fair. I mean, that's fair to feel that way. Again, like a lot of guns in the game are interchangeable. It's like they're all it kind of comes down to the player and how you play. And also like they're all in the same tier, those weapons. So even though I'm kind of trying to rank them in terms of power from like better to worse, it's very interchangeable. Select fire charge rifle is nasty in long range meta for sure. Yeah. I think the game just doesn't really lend to like that type of play right now. Yeah, if you can hit your shots with any of these guns, they're insane. That's always how it comes down to. Volt. I had the Volt. I'm pretty sure. No, I had the Volt at high A tier. No, I had the Volt at bottom A tier at the start of the season. I think it's still there. Why use the Volt when the Havoc and the Devo exist? Pretty much. I do still think the Volt is kind of like the 301 of weapons where it's really easy to use. You really don't need any attachments on the Volt for it to be fine. It's just not really going to compete with these other guns. I think at this point, I'd rather have a Prowler in that high mag size, high like total damage per mag. I'd rather have the car because that's like just a little bit more easy and not easy, but a little bit more convenient to use the car because the mags and the ammo type. I do think the Volt is significantly better than these guns. We'll put it at bottom A. I actually really like the Volt. It just doesn't really have a place in the game right now. It's similar to the what were we saying earlier? It's similar to what were we saying? It's similar to the Hemlock in some senses, where it's kind of good at everything, but not really amazing at anything. So yeah, I don't know, good all around. Wingman I think is a little weird too. The Wingman at the start of the season had some buffs to like the mags again and the fire rate. I don't really know where to put the Wingman though. I had the Wingman in B tier. I'm trying to think if I would use the Wingman more than these guns. I don't know if I would use the Wingman over a longbow. I think I'd rather have the range of a longbow, and I think I'd rather have the TTK spray ability of like any of these guns. The Wingman's always such an odd use case in the game. If you're really good, like the Wingman is crazy. But I think for the general play, I don't know. High skill gun, yeah, exactly. You'll never use the Wingman in ranked, yeah. I think if you're like pubbing it out, you can find like some A tier viability. If you're playing ranked, it's like pretty unusable. I think we'll just put it in B. Um, I think I'd rather have these guns. We'll do bottom B. I don't know. It's so weird. It's like if you're a machine, like literally if you're a robot and you don't miss your shots, the Wingman's gonna 2 to 3 tap everyone. But hopefully we're not all robots using our little aimbotters. We'll do that. We'll do bottom B. We'll go back through everything again. Devotion, in my opinion, is the best gun in the game. And I know that's going to be a little divisive in chat. And I really messed up at the start of the season. And that's kind of what happens. Like the game evolves a little bit. I think I won't put maybe best gun in the games being a little much. Like I think the triple take, maybe even the peacekeeper, I might rather have at times. But and we were kind of talking about this earlier with you guys in the chat. Like if you're playing, if you can't get the attachments, so if you're playing slower, you're not getting as many kills, you're not getting it kitted. It's like B low A. It's not really that good. If you are playing the game kind of the way it's supposed to be played, you're running around getting kills, actually playing like getting fights, you're gonna get the attachments. And so many people are using the Devo right now, and same thing with the Nemesis, where you're gonna find them regardless. So as long as you are actually not just sitting in the corner turtling, you're gonna get the attachments. The gun is gonna be insane. So yeah, is it better than the R9? Probably. Can you have everyone on the squad running double energy? Not really. um, but yeah, it's very good. Let's see. Devo S tier when turbo, low A or B without. 100% agree. Only thing to beat the Devo is a Sheila. Devotion is really nasty. By far the best thing in the game, especially with the Devo. Getting turbo and the passive, yep. Yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't really do anything with the Devo, right? They just left it. They had no changes. Very odd. Very odd for them not to do anything. I will say if you're ballistic, it's also instant pick in the sling. So let's just go through this one more time, then we're gonna switch to the legends. I'm gonna keep the charge rifle in D tier. I think it's just lacks a little bit of range and overall, not lacks range, it lacks close range usability. C tier, we got the EVA 8 and the RE45. I think the EVA just lacks like usability. If you're close and you're spraying someone down, it can be very good, but I think it's just not flexible enough. And the RE45 is similar. The RE45 just doesn't do anything unique. A lot of the other guns above it are better. Then we got the Wingman, Alternator, Bowcheck, L-Star, and Longbow, all in B tier. These are the guns for me that are like, okay, good, I would even say in some scenarios, but they're not going to beat out a lot of the guns above it. A tier is going to be the bread and butter of Apex Legends, where we have a lot of really good guns that you can use at any time, but they're not quite as good as those in S. So we have the Volt, Spitfire, Prowler, we got the Mozambique, we got the Havoc, Mastiff, Car, Sentinel, Flatline, R30, Hemlock, and Rampage. A lot of really good guns in Apex. And I think the amount of guns that we have in SNA just shows that the healthiness of the game, I think, is pretty solid right now. Like, even though there's a couple of guns that are like busted, like the Devo, I think a lot of guns in the game are usable if you're not playing it too seriously. S tier, we're going to have 3 care packages at the bottom, although any of these could easily be at the top. We got Triple Take, Kraber, Peacekeeper. If you find any of these guns, in my eyes, it's pretty much instant pickup. The only time I might not take the Peacekeeper is if I'm already running like a fully kitted Devo. Otherwise, I'm pretty much always going to take the PK. I'm going to take it over the P20. I'm going to take it probably just as much as the R9. Then we got the Devo, got the Nemesis, got the 3030, and we got the G7. I would say these top 4 guns or top 5 guns, these are the guns you're really going to take in terms of the meta. And again, maybe the P20. Mozambique deserves B rank, I think, not the A. Who chooses a Mozam over a Volt? Yeah, I can see that. I think we put the Mozam in A because of the accelerator stock. So that's my weapon tier list for the midseason of Apex Legends 25. I'm going to hit a quick ad break, guys, and then we're going to do the Legends right away. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go use the bathroom, and we'll get it going. Alrighty. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, gun health feels good right now, apart from the Devo. Agreed. Weapon meta is good right now, apart from the Ballistic and Devo. Agreed. I think it's a good tier list. Thank you. There's Havoc, Flatline, Mozam. Off topic question: does control freaks help with aim? So I actually use a control freak. I use one on my right stick for aim. Obviously, it's kind of like what you're asking. I have used a taller stick probably since Black Ops 3. That was almost 10 years ago now. I'm an old man. I like the taller stick for aiming. Some people don't. Some people think shorter sticks in Apex is a little bit better just because you can aim quicker. But I like the longer stick. I've been using it for like a decade now. I actually do really like the grippiness of it too. It's a little bit grippier than a regular thumbstick. You can obviously get different thumbsticks that are more grippy, but I like it personally. Always comes down to the player though. I don't know if it necessarily is going to make me like better. Chair stream. But yeah, I don't know. Black Ops 3 player, yeah. Yeah, I could actually. I mean, I don't want to get on a tangent here, but I kind of want another jetpack game from Call of Duty at least, or Titanfall, please, guys, please. I need some wall running. I need some like double jumping. I need like a little bit more like free flowing movement in my games. I mean, COD. Don't even get me going on COD though. Oh my god, COD this year dead to me. Dead. I can't play it anymore. I have them both on the high rise on the right and small on the left. Gotcha. Yeah, Black Ops 3 was last COD. I think I might have hit max prestige on. What was after Black Ops 3? Oh, we're about to go down this path, aren't we? Hold on. We'll get back to the legend rankings in a. I've played them all. I will say I have played them all. Black Ops 3, yeah, Modern Warfare Remastered. Infinite Warfare was trash. It was Black Ops 3 clone. World War 2 is trash. Black Ops 4 I really liked, the whole Blackout. I thought Blackout Battle Royale was way better than Warzone. MW1, Cold War actually didn't think it was that bad. Vanguard was trash. Warzone right now is kind of trash. Modern Warfare 3 was kind of trash, which is actually really disappointing because I had a lot of Modern Warfare 2 maps. And Black Ops 6 I kind of despise, but yeah, I don't know. We need a Titanfall 3, like a jump pack game. I need a new game, guys. I'm getting like too old for the current set of games out there. I don't know. I need something new. I've been playing like the same games for like 10 years at this point. I started playing COD back here. I remember getting COD 3 for the Xbox 360 back in the day. And then I did go back and play the other ones, but I didn't play them at launch. World at War, I think, is my favorite COD. In terms of like what really got me into the franchise. But anyway, little sidetrack there. All right, Legends. Just so you guys know, quick overview of Legend changes for midseason of Apex Legends. Watson and Vantage had the biggest buffs. Ash had a fair amount of changes. I don't know if necessarily I'm going to say buffs, but she had some changes. Then we had Alter, Ballistic, Conduit, and Mirage all getting a couple little small changes. Otherwise, characters in the meta hasn't really changed that much since the start of the season. We'll go over the big changes for the Legends when we get to that specific Legend. But let's go right into where we started. So, start of the season, just so you guys know, in the bottom tier of my Legends, so this is the start of the season. I'll just talk about this quickly. F tier, I had Caustic and Seer. I removed F tier again. I'm not sure if it's really valid. I don't know if any Legend is like F. D tier was Bloodhound. C tier was Crypto, Gibraltar, Conduit, and Vantage. So that's where I was at the bottom of the tier. At the bottom of the Legend tier list. I'm going to put Bloodhound in C tier. I had him at D tier at the start of the season. I don't know. Bloodhound's like fine. He hasn't really been relevant in a long time. There's just not really a lot to say about Bloodhound. I don't know. The scanning isn't as good as it used to be. I still really like his ultimate, and I think the passive tracking is lacking a little bit. I'm not really sure what I'm not really sure what they could do with Bloodhound to make him better. I don't really want to go back to a wall hack meta. I don't know. That is the duality of Apex. Caustic is definitely F. Next chat, Caustic S plus easy. What? There should be an F tier for Caustic. All right, you guys convinced me. I kind of agree. Kind of agree. Should we just like make it purple? Where is he? Where is he? Caustic. Big rip. Big rip. Yeah. So we're obviously jumping around here a little bit, but Gas Statty, yeah, I don't know. The gas you can walk right through. His traps highlighted now, like you said, easily to destroy. His gas grenade is actually okay. If you're playing pubs, Caustic is useless. If you're playing ranked, I might actually give Caustic like a C tier. You can deploy all those traps and sit in the corner and maybe get a little bit of use out of him. But yeah, I don't know. Caustic did get some shadow buffs. His gas traps are activated for 22 seconds. Now is 12, and gas traps can't be shot out until fully deployed. Still not enough, really. I did not even know that. They didn't say that in any patch notes, did they? Anyway, I'm just gonna put him in his own little tier. I do think he needs a lot of changes. Caustic is such an odd legend to buff. Like you give him too much, his gas too much, and then he's here. But if you nerf it too much, then he's back here. There's like they can't get him in the middle for some reason. I think he needs like an entire rework. Probably needs to just like get all new abilities. I don't know if you give him like maybe he keeps the gas grenade. Maybe the gas grenade goes to a tactical and you give him a new ultimate. I'm not sure. The game right now is so fast. Also, like this type of play is hard to reinforce for the most part. Anyway, little side tangent. Conduit was B tier at the start of the season. Conduit got a little buff last week. So Conduit, just so you know, they reduced the tactical cooldown to 21 seconds from 31 seconds. That was a previous hotfix earlier in the season. And then they reduced the charge delay after getting damage to 1 second from 2 seconds. And it's half, and it sounds small, but I actually think that is a pretty big deal. You're going to start getting shields back a lot faster now after getting hit. And I think that makes her pretty usable. I still wish Conduit was actually like goated. There was a small time where she was really good, but I kind of feel like they nerfed her too quick. I would love to see her play style get reinforced a little bit. I actually really like Conduit's kit between you got like faster movement, you got like a tactical that can heal the team, but you got a little control in there also with the ultimate. Her kit is very, very unique, and she's a lot of fun to play. If you like a support legend, she's like kind of it in terms of being like a healer in combat. Yeah, Lifeline can do some, but like she's like the really, really nice support character that can actually make the team like fight a little bit better and differently. So yeah, kind of had a little buff this season. I think she's pretty solid right now. She could be B maybe if you're just like pubbing. You don't need that, or even if you're playing ranked. Kind of depends. She's like a low A, high B for me. So Conduit ult needs to be buffed to 20 damage per tech instead of 10. Her ult has been power crept by spares all in your opinion. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, it's very similar. I'd also wouldn't mind seeing her ultimate cooldown getting like reduced. Personally. Alter. Alter had quite the trip this season. So she was buffed and then she had some quick changes, but so you're aware, Ultimate had some adjustments previous in the season. Chase portal usage warning delay reduced to 3.5 from 5. Chase portal activation delay reduced to 6 from 8. Cooldown after usage increased to 60 seconds from 30 seconds. So she did have a little bit of a nerf. But let's not be kidding ourselves. She's goated. I'm going to go on a little tangent here. When they release a new character, Respawn, if you are listening, please, for the love of everything, do not make it take a year to get to the character to a decent spot to use. If you're going to release content, make the character absolutely busted and then nerf them within a couple weeks if you want to. But the fact that it took Alter, a new character, one of 2 characters that we've gotten in the last 2 years, 2 characters in 2 years, guys, let's be real. It took her a year to become usable. We need the new characters to be good right away. Make them useful, make them impactful in the game. Anyway, tangent aside, Alter, very good. She's like kind of a do-it-all character right now. And that's kind of with just her skirmisher role and her like kit where you can get support or recon. I think she's very good. I like Alter's playstyle quite a bit. She's very satisfying to play. Alter needs to lose support upgrade with the Nexus as an ult is just ridiculous. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. She's like one of the best ranked characters you can pick. Maybe you can find a use where she's not as valuable in pubs, but ranked, she's just broken. Bangalore is kind of odd. I put her at B tier start of the season. I think I'm gonna leave her there. I'm kind of happy her smokes aren't as OP as they used to be. Like her smokes were very annoying for a long time, and the double time and just how she was used was really frustrating. Digital threat too. I don't know if there's anything they could really do to Bangalore in the current meta to make her actually broken again. I think she has a really fun kit between like she's like one of the hybrid legends I've always said, where she can be aggressive and play on the offensive. She can be defensive and use concealment. She can be supportive with the team with her smokes. She can provide relief with the ultimate, provide like advancement with the ultimate. She can kind of do it all. I don't think she's really good at any one thing in particular. Like there's a lot of parts of her kit that can be activated through other legends. If they ever bring back digital threat, she's probably going to just be broken again. So I don't see that happening. But I think she's in a fair spot right now. There was a period where she was bad and then really good, and I think she is okay right now. We kind of had the Bangalore meta. I don't think we have any need to go back to it. Catalyst, another really difficult legend for me to rank. I had her at B at the start of the season. Maybe A tier or S tier. It's kind of weird. This is another legend where it's very mode specific, and I'm trying not to rank characters on specific modes. If you're playing pubs, there's really not a lot of use for Catalyst. She's like a C tier legend for me. She's better than Bloodhound. If you're playing ranked, like if you're playing ranked and you're not as confident in your ability to take fights and like frag out the game, she's like a A tier legend. I think we'll put her like high B. Catalyst is an ALGS character only, pretty much. Yeah, Bad Boy, 100% agree. And this is not an ALGS tier list at all. ALGS is like a completely different ball game. When you're in those lobbies with a lot of skilled players and you can't move around a lot, her ability to fortify up and trap up is huge, and she's so fast at doing it. And I will say, Watson being better now, and we're going to get to her, definitely hurts Catalyst quite a bit. Watson can place fences more frequently now, which is kind of bumps Catalyst down a little bit. We'll leave Cat in B tier, maybe A. If you're playing ranked, she's like AS. If you're playing pubs, she's like C. We'll leave her right in the middle. She's so difficult to rank. It really depends on the mode. Crypto I had at C at the start of the season, and Crypto is kind of like Catalyst. Crypto in ALGS is like insane. I think crypto gets a little bit more viability now that Watson was buffed. Um, just because you can counter all of that. Is he actually A or is he just still B? I had him at C, right? I had him at C at the start of the season. Um, crypto has always been like kind of a legend where I think he's slept on. I don't think people really understand crypto. People don't like the play style that crypto brings. I get it. I think we'll leave him at B. I think I'd rather have Catalyst. I would. Gosh. Um, it really depends. Again, what is the pick rates right now? I don't really like to go off of pick rates, but I just want to see how many people are using Watson at the top of the game. Probably not much. Where is she? 1.1% Watson. And then anyone 6.5%. What about Diamond? 3%. 3% is pretty high actually for pick rate. I'm trying to like, just so you guys know, the game is played very differently at different ranks. When you're Masters and Pred, you're pretty much just running it down. Like the game doesn't really have a competitive rank system. But if you're like Platinum Diamond and you're trying to grind to the higher ranks, like you're actually like intently like, yeah, Platinum 8.2%. Oh god, there's just so much to like take into account. Like if you're a platinum player, you probably can't play crypto to the ability that crypto needs to be played. But if you're a really good player, then you're probably not in platinum. You're a higher rank, so then crypto is not as good. I'm gonna leave crypto in B tier for now. He's so variable in terms of the player, the meta, and all that. And I really don't like to argue that much with like low tier legends either. Like who really cares about the BC legends? Anyway, Fuse, I actually think is one of the best legends in the game. I had Fuse in S tier at the start of the season. We're gonna put Fuse. Do I want to put him in S? The more Watson's being used does make me a little concerned for Fuse with the gen. I think we'll leave Fuse at high A for now. I'm gonna put him above Conduit. Fuse is like a really good all-around pub fragging legend. Maybe not as good in ranked, simply just based off how the game is played. It really depends on your playstyle, ultimately. If you like the explosive type of deal, I think Fuse is probably going to end up in like a solid middle A. But he's like a SA for pubs and like a B for ranked. Fuse is good for dealing with the Watson doors. That is very true. The doors are electrified now. Nobody know how to play him right, so it's trash. I don't really like ranking the legends based on like how people perceive him. Like I try to think of like if you're playing the legend to its capacity. I like to assume the best in someone's skill. Ballistic, anyway, we can have an easy one here. And Ballistic and Alter, kind of in a similar situation where like release the character, don't wait a year and a half to make them really good. Yeah. I think Fuse is B. He gets better the smaller circle is, but I don't get that small in most lobbies. Yeah, I don't know. Ballistic, just so you guys are aware, the tactical had a lot of changes kind of mid-season or previously in the split. Damage of the tactical is just less now. Does less damage, 15 instead of 20 when you hit someone. When it overheats, it's doing 15 instead of 30. And then some of the upgrades with the tactical kind of changed. They flipped things around. And then earlier in the split, they made it so the time extension is no longer a thing when you're getting knocks, which I think is very fair because people were in the ballistic goal for like a minute and a half and for a while. Ballistic's very good. I don't know. I wish he was better sooner. Fuse isn't over conduit. That's fair. I mean, they're so close again. They're in the same tier. We don't need to overly get picky with it. Yes, you love not being able to shoot your gun, right? Yeah, ballistic's annoying. I think, and there's a couple characters that are like this. The weapon meta reflects the character, and the devotion being in the sling, devotion being really good, it just makes ballistic a little bit better. Um, yeah, so people can't have a 45-second ult now with 4 charges. Yeah, ballistic's probably better than alter in terms of like the gameplay that you can get. Like alter, I can see use where maybe she's not a pub legend, but she's very good in ranked, and ballistic is good in both modes. Pistol is very annoying for sure. Gibraltar. Not gonna be as good as a lot of the other support legends. I don't think the weapon meta is friendly to Gibby right now. Like, yeah, if you can get a PK and you want to play that way, fine. I had Gibraltar in C tier at the start of this season. Kind of wondering if I should maybe actually just drop crypto now. I don't know if I can keep Gibraltar. Is Gibby the worst support, right? Yeah, that's like kind of what I'm grappling with right now. I think we're gonna drop crypto down to C. Gibby's too big in this new TTK. Yeah, he's like kind of sneakily squishy. Gibby's still C tier. Yeah, that's kind of what I was grappling with. Like, I don't know if necessarily Gibby is better or worse than crypto. They're very similar in skill ceiling to me. They're completely different play styles, but maybe I'll put them low B for now. Might change. We're gonna probably have to go back to this for sure. Gibby Bubble is one of the best abilities in the game. Yeah, I just don't know if his size kit. He's just like a little antiquated at this point. He's a little dated. I don't know. Horizon. Horizon. I had an A tier at the start of the season. I think that's still pretty fair. Nothing changed with her. Horizon's an odd legend in Apex. Horizon has had literally like 15 changes, nerfs specifically, and she's still right there. Probably not gonna take her in ranked, but pubs she's very good in, like Space Mommy. Yep. Would I take her over these? Probably not. I don't think she's deserving of being in B. Like, I think she's better than those characters in B. Horizon's still good, but I don't see her people playing her. Horizon is high B, I think. She's okay. Yeah. She could be high B. She could be better than these characters. What's the... She used that all at the top of the game? Not really. I mean, she's 1.6%, but she is higher than the majority of characters. Ash being 35%. Can we do something about that? 35%? They nerfed Pathfinder. They were freaking out when he was like 21%. Overall game, Horizon's right at the same, kind of like in the middle. Yeah, she's still very good. She's like in between B and A. Yeah, she's like a B plus, A minus. She's like fun to use still. Maybe not gonna be like overly competitive though. Lifeline. I'm gonna still put Lifeline in S tier, I think. I had her in S at the start of the season. She could be high A. I do think Lifeline is the best support legend. Although there's kind of a case for maybe Newcastle to be better. But I think I'm gonna keep Lifeline in S tier. I think Lifeline is the best beginner legend. good in pubs, good in ranked. Her ult is so good at resetting. Her tactical is so good at keeping the team healthy. Honestly, if you have a lifeline in the team, there's a scenario where you don't need small meds because you can just keep getting the drone. The movement I think is actually like forgotten about with lifeline. Everyone thinks of her new ultimate, but the movement is actually pretty good. Um, honestly, if you rock this combo right here, ballistic alter lifeline, like that's an incredible combo. We'll see as I rank some of these other legends. I might move her down to high A. We're gonna leave her in S for now though. Loba for me has always been a very solid legend. I think she's the number one convenience legend. Lifeline's S tier as long as your random revives you. Yeah, right skills. Loba I'm gonna put in like bottom A, upper B. I think she's actually a little slept on. Pub, you can get more fights because you can get loot faster. Ranked, you can loot while not having to go out in the open. Keep yourself alive to end game. She's just like a convenience legend. Like you don't necessarily need her kit. If you're playing with a team that's a little bit slower, I think there's a little bit more use for Loba. And I think our double bracelet is actually slept on a little bit. Like that comboed with the fact that you get health recharge when you're using the bracelet. I think Loba might be the best legend now at like getting away from people. It's very difficult to track down a Loba because you can throw her Q and then like that player that's chasing you has to make a decision to try to get you before the Q finishes. If they do that and they don't get you, you're gone. If they chase you down, you can kind of reposition twice and then they really still can't get to you. But we'll do like mid to low A for Loba. She might change. Mad Maggie I had in B tier start of the season. I think I'm gonna keep her like mid to high B. Trying to think like her kit, shotguns in the passive, tracking with the passive, so. Tactical drill is definitely good to get people to move, but I feel like the game is so fast right now that's not as good. And then her ultimate wrecking ball can definitely turn the tide of things, but the ultimate wrecking ball will not break Lifeline's ult, right? They didn't change that. I think we'll put her like here, upper mid B. Mad Maggie is anti Watson. Is that true? Does the generator eat the ball, the wrecking ball, or does it not? Only way to catch a lobe is asphalt. That's a good point. That is a good point. It's A low, you think, for Maggie? B low? Yeah. No, but Maggie Ball will break everything, including the gen. Interesting. That I did not know. Let's leave her at mid high B. I'm not really sure. Mid B. Mirage. Mirage start of the season. I had him at low B tier. And if you are unaware, Mirage did have a small little buff where the tactical and ult decoys now swap weapons when you also swap weapons and also properly holster melee weapons. I don't think that changes his power though. I don't really see that changing Mirage's overall power. Mirage is so difficult. Mirage has always been the legend. Sorry, I'm just thinking like internally right now. Mirage has always been the legend where if you're going against really good players, he's not that great. If you're playing in like rookie to low platinum, like he's actually viable. Oh gosh. Mid A S. Damn. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings here, but Okay, let's do this. Would I rather have Mirage over Gibby? Bang, yes. Catalyst, probably in pubs, maybe not in ranked. Kind of depends. Would I rather have Mirage over Mad Maggie? Probably not. Horizon, probably not. God. What's Mirage pick rate? 2.7%. I feel like Mirage is kind of like a troll character, though. He's always going to be a little bit higher. I think he's definitely better than some of these B. Mirage is useful. People just suck at using him time to time. Yeah, I do get that. All right. This is gonna be a chat's pick right here. We're gonna put him at low A. Not at all my opinion. I think I'd have him mid B, but a lot of you guys in chat are saying mid A. So we'll put him at A. Bro, it's not that hard. Ash, Ballistic, Alter, Watson, S tier, as in crying. The rest is trash. I mean, maybe. I mean, if you're like a Pred player, sure, but the game just isn't played like that by a lot of people. Octane. I had Octane in A tier at the start of the ceiling. That might be my biggest take I've ever had, and I'm sorry, but Octane I'm gonna put at like mid A or mid B. I think I was riding the high of Octane getting 2 pads from the previous season, season 24, when they buffed skirmishers. I really liked Octane in that. I really liked that you could throw a pad, run in, get a knock, get another pad, move on. But since that is gone, like I don't know. I think you're sleeping on Mirage. Pred he's not used because of the meta, but he does get picked in ALGS. People pick him in the ALGS because of his upgrades, so. And this isn't really ALGS though. I'm not rating at all for that. I'm gonna put Octane like mid B. I see chat is all over the place with Octane. Octane S, Octane B, Octane C, Octane D. I'm gonna take all of y'all's opinion and put them right in the middle. Octane really needs a buff for his Q. Yeah, I would love to see the damage reduction come back a little bit. I like that you can take the upgrades to reduce the damage, but I kind of wish maybe it was what it starts 20 and then you get it down to 10. Maybe it starts 15 and you get it down to 5. Or maybe it starts 15, you just take one upgrade, it's 10, and now you can also get a different upgrade in there. I don't know. Maybe they just give him the ability to get a pad on a knock again. Hot take is Octane is only better than Seer, Bloodhound, and Caustic. I think that's not really a hot take. I think that's really fair. For sure. Newcastle. Again, if this was ALGS, Newcastle is S. I think I'm going to put Newcastle like borderline S, high A. Newcastle, since he came out, in my opinion, has always been one of the best characters in the game, and that has not been widely accepted as an opinion from a lot of people. Newcastle, I think, in some ways, is better than Lifeline. I think Newcastle just doesn't have the same like usability as Lifeline. If you get knocked, Newcastle is probably better than Lifeline. Newcastle ult is better than Watson Gen. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe with intercepting, I can see that. I think I would rather just have, in terms of like the game, Newcastle's a little bit more reactionary. Like if you get knocked, I'd rather have a Newcastle pick me up because the mobile and the passive, like moving someone, the tactical passive combo, you're probably gonna get up. But gosh, when you're in endgame ranked and you have no cover, only hitbox makes him A tier. Yeah. Chief Mario, can I get a shout out? I subbed and watched all your videos. I appreciate the support. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Respawn buffing weapon damage across the board has made it so Newcastle's abilities get melted faster from what I've seen. Yeah, that's very true. Skills, aren't you like top Newcastle? Am I crazy? You would be the best one here to have a Newcastle opinion. Or maybe you're too close. Right? Uh aren't you like top 100 Newcastle kills or something like that? Maybe I should just go to you for this one. Get shield regen on Newcastle ult. That is very true. Newcastle's really good, but you need to master the legends. Yeah, Newcastle's definitely harder to play than Lifeline. Yeah, 15,000 kills on him. That's quite a bit. Lifeline res gets me killed by randoms almost always, cause unless it's in our ult. Yeah, 8,000 kills on him. Damn. We'll leave him at bottom S. I think there's a lot of good stuff in Newcastle's kit where he could be high A. But I'm not disappointed if someone on my team is Newcastle instead of Lifeline. So we'll leave him there. Pathfinder. Pathfinder, I had an S tier at the start of the season. And I think that is still pretty fair in terms of how the game is played right now. Maybe like a low S, high A. Pathfinder has a really high pick rate, all players and in higher ranks. Yeah, bottom S, he is still amazing. Yeah. I really like what they did with Pathfinder at the start of the split or start of the season. They like took some of his ultimate zipline, baked it, upgrades and baked it right into his kit. And the zipline is just a little bit better than it used to be. Plus, you got the upgrades changed and all that. But damn, is he a walking refrigerator? He is huge. Yeah. If you're playing pubs, S tier, easy. Ranked though, I don't know if I'd want him for ranked really. And when I say ranked, like I'm not thinking about those predators and master players who are just flying around the map killing everyone. I'm thinking about us players who are like actually have to think strategically about playing ranked. You gotta get placement. You gotta like grind your way through the ranks. I'm not thinking about a pro player who's 3 stacking with his pro buddies. If you master Path, he's S. If you're not good, he's low A. Yeah. Path and Rev need mini fortified. Yeah. Yeah, let's do Pathfinder high A, maybe low S. If A ranked, S pubs, but we're gonna keep them high ranked, and we're gonna skip Rampart. Let's just do Revenant because I feel like Revenant and Pathfinder are pretty similar. Rev I had also in A at the start of the season, so I had Path and S. I had Rev in A. I think we're gonna keep them both like right here. Maybe I'd rather have Fuse or Conduit. But I think Rev is solid. I had a little bit of a buff recently, not the split or anything. The ultimate is nice to absorb damage. The leap is good to get in and get out. Climbing and all that's nice. Rev jump is free aim training, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to like counter than a Pathfinder grapple. I'm thinking like if I'm going into the game and let's say I am playing one of these characters and Revenant gets selected, would I rather have Revenant on my team over Path, Fuse, Conduit, Loba? I don't know if I'd rather have a Revenant teammate. I think I'd rather have any of these. And in some ways, I'd almost rather have Mirage sometimes for his utility of this kit. So let's put Rev like lower A. His hitbox is huge too. Zombie, you are for sure right. Tim, can you please make a new video on what legend upgrades to pick for each legend? So Alec, I've wanted to make that for a little bit now. The problem with me making that video, and I made it when the upgrades first came out, the upgrades are changing so frequently that that video just got outdated like so fast. And if I do another one, I'm afraid that's going to happen again. Maybe some of the upgrades have landed in a solid spot. So like maybe that wouldn't be as much of a case as when I first released the video, but um maybe a live stream where we go over like every character and we talk about every character's upgrades. Maybe that would be better because for me to get footage of every upgrade and then to post an actual video on it, you know how long that takes? That's like there's 27 characters right now. Yeah, there's 27 characters. Every character has 4 upgrades. That's 108 upgrades I have to talk about. And that's just like a huge lift in terms of a video. They get footage for 108 different upgrades, and it's a lot. So maybe a live stream is good for that, though. I've been trying not to go on a little tangent here, but I've been trying to think about a couple easier ways for me to get you guys content and how to play the game, tips like that. Making full videos right now, which is not feasible with my personal life. I have a lot going on in terms of like stuff I have to do, like got a new home, taking architecture exams, going to hopefully be an architect by the end of the year. Finally, been working on that for like a decade. Um, it's summertime. I want to like live my life and do things. So I'm trying to think of like stream ideas for you. So if you have anything you want me to do on stream, definitely let me know. Those upgrades also change a lot too. Yeah. Anyway, Rampart. Sorry, we kind of skipped over Rampart. Rampart, start of the season, I had her high to mid B tier. I think that's still a pretty fair take. Maybe a little bit higher, solely because the devotion is getting so much use. I think I'd rather have a Rampart on my team than a Mirage or Rev or even a Loba. I really like the use of Rampart's barriers. And I actually think Watson being better now, Sheila is going to find more use to break the walls and all that. I think I might rather have her than there. I'm going to put her like mid to high A. I think we're going to find. Yeah, I cannot name a negative thing about Rampart. Like her passive LMGs maybe is the only negative I was kind of say, but like the devotion being so good, like it makes the devotion better, which it doesn't need. Maybe Fuse is actually a little too high. Maybe I'll drop Fuse just a couple there. No problem, Alec. Thank you. Yeah, if you're a ranked player, I think she's S. If you're like a pub, she's like B. Overall in the game, she's good. I wish maybe so her passive upgrades LMG mag size and reload. I would love to see her passive get buffed to where it still upgrades LMG's reload and ammo size, but maybe if you have a different gun, it buffs them by like half of what the LMGs get. So if the LMGs are getting 15% mag, maybe every other gun's getting 5%. I think that'd be cool for her to get. And I don't know if that would really break the game. Devotion is better for Sheila. Seer. Moving on. Sparrow. I do think Seer, in all seriousness, I do think Seer is a little bit better than Gas Daddy, but it's no secret. I don't know if Seer is ever gonna get use again. Yeah, I don't know. Why is Bang so low? I don't think Bang has just like a ton of competitive viability right now in terms of like the game. We talked about Bang earlier. Seer C tier at least, you think? I think I'd rather have Bloodhound and Crypto over Seer. He did get some buffs at the start of the season, right? Let me look at the patch notes for start of the season. He had buffs last season in the middle of split 2. Decreased time for the attack to target and hit. Decreased time for attack to finish. Yeah, 6,000 kills on Seer. I have a friend also IRL that has like 6,000 to 7,000 kills on Seer. I don't know, and he doesn't ever use them either. Seer is an amazing counter to Ashe. That is so true. He stops her from being able to use the passive, right? Ultimate still wall hacks. I never understood why Rampart can only mod LMGs when she literally made the Nemesis and some weapon modder. Apex lore, baby. All right. You've convinced me a little bit. Yeah, the wall hacks, and I think Seer being a counter to a couple of those movement characters is nice, but you're never gonna find Seer in like a competitive lobby of high ranked or even like pubs. Seer is the lowest picked legend in any game mode. And not that I'm going really off of pick rates, but I think that's pretty telling. Some of it though does have to do with fun factor. I'm gonna put Seer above Bloodhound, lower than Crypto. Still has heartbeat sensor for 75 meters. Yeah, I just feel like the game's so fast. I don't know if like rat finding's that great. I think there's a theme here though. The recon class maybe needs a little bit of love. Seer needs to cancel revives again. I actually think that would be fine, and I don't think that would break the game. Like all the other characters are so fast, so good. Like him getting a little bit more, I think would be okay. But remember Seer at the start of the game? Like, can we go down memory lane here real quick? Just how insane Seer was when Apex first came out. Can we talk about this? Look at Seer at the start of the game. This is my Seer guide when he came out. Almost 4. Oh man, look at that little thing there. Look how fast he was walking around. Literally can like slide jump and cancel and everything. The range was insane. Flash bang upon getting hit, 10 damage. Faster movement. Ultimate was like better. Damn. I have a 2x Prowler only. Not sure about that one, but yeah, Seer was crazy when they first came out. Sparrow. I had Sparrow in S tier at the start of the season. I think that's still going to be the case. I can't believe Seer came out 4 years ago though. But aside of that, I think Sparrow's still an S tier legend. His ultimate is very good. Movement very good. Tactical is probably the weaker part of the kit, but being able to scan those survey beacons from anywhere is kind of broken. I think I'd rather have these characters in terms of, well, mainly these left two, because I'm not really going to compare Sparrow to the supports, but Noah, what's going on? Welcome. I did do the weapons at the start of the stream. Yeah. If you wanted to check that out, you could rewind. You're still in high school when Steer came out. Yikes. I wish I could say that. When Steer came out, I was 12 years after high school. Now it's 15 years after high school. 16, almost coming up on 16. I graduated 16 years ago this summer. Is that why my back hurts? Anyway, yeah, Sparrow's pretty good. Not a lot to say. Like ultimate very good, slow people, get damage, tactical good to track people, catch people off guard, force their attention to shoot the arrow, scan the survey beacons, movement very good in pubs, fun, all that. So Valkyrie, I think, is a little slept on. Again, it kind of comes down to the players. Like if you're struggling with ranked, look at us old guys, haha, yeah. It's like if you're a Pred master player, Valkyrie's not that great. But if you're trying to grind the ranks, like Valkyrie takes a lot of the guesswork out in rotating. And in pubs, I think she's actually not bad as a combat legend to fly around. I think I'd rather have Valkyrie than Mirage, Rev, maybe not Fuse, maybe not Loba. So we'll put her in the middle. I think she's just maybe. Why does no one play Valk anymore? It is kind of odd, right? Like, I feel like on paper she's kind of still broken. Like a passive that can literally fly you around anywhere. I guess like a lot of the characters have gotten more movement, like Ash movement, Sparrow movement, are a little bit more like free flowing and natural. Where and not that the jetpack's not free flowing, but you're a little bit more revealed. It's loud. The tactical is not as good as a lot of the other tacticals, but you do get a stun. Um, I think Valk middle A is probably fine. If you're like trying to really grind ranked placement, S. If you're like kind of pubbing, maybe like A, B. If you're higher, more experienced ranked player, she's a little bit lower, but all around not bad. These three legends have a lot to talk about. Let's just do Wraith. Wraith at the start of the season, I had her at mid A, and I think that's still pretty fair. Probably like similar situation as Valkyrie in my eyes for Wraith, but a little bit different. Like she has that portal rotate in the tactical phase to kind of like get you across the open, survivability. Passive is pretty useless. I do like it when like someone comes in my area and I know they're looking at me, or I know there's traps or enemies. That's nice, but I don't know. Maybe I'd rather have Valk, and maybe I'd rather have a lot of these characters, maybe like mid to low A for Wraith. Um, her kit is just old. Like she's the OG sweaty legend. Um, the fact that she did have all those buffs that made her tactical faster. Yeah, Wraith is middle of A, very well balanced, really. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, a lot of these characters here in mid A are kind of like interchangeable. I like that Wraith is usable again. There was a period where she felt pretty bad to use, so I think that's good. Wraith is good, middle A. She's just outshined by Ashen Altar. Yep, exactly. 100% Kyle. She can cancel her attack again, which is nice. Yeah, yep. Vantage. So Vantage had a ton of changes. But to be honest, the Vantage changes, I don't know if they really like make her excel. Just trying to open the page again. I'll bring it over here so we can all see it. Alter Ash Vantage. So Shrink Vantage's upper body hitbox, huge change. Awesome. It's funny that her hitbox was bigger than her character model. Not sure about that. That's odd. Passive Spotter's Lens can now ping 3 enemies at a time. Fine. Can see health bars, which is nice. Pinging an enemy will reveal their position when further than 50 meters away. Was 100 meters, so that's nice. Tactical, basically not going to go through all this. It's faster now. That's basically it. Maybe a little bit farther too. Ultimate is a little bit more usable. They baked the ultimate reload Excel use into the kit, which is nice. Laser is now hidden until Vantage shoots. That's actually kind of annoying. Has anyone died yet by Vantage because you don't know they're looking at you? That's kind of OP, I think, and again, be frustrating. Laser is now more representative of aim. Interesting. I didn't even know that. Like, kind of wasn't lined up. Upgrades have changed. New gain access to ring consoles and zone overcharge, and new improved mark enemy icon is visible through walls, and upgrades level 3. Cooldown attack reduced by 5. That's actually pretty huge, and adds a gun shield to the ultimate. No, because it does 50 damage. Yeah, that's true. The first hit's not gonna kill you. That's very true. Her attack feels very good now. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I'm gonna put at the start of the season, I had Vantage in C tier. Definitely not C tier. Definitely better than that. I would say maybe like a low A. Now, probably better than some of these characters. She's like in a similar range as like Valk, Wraith, Rev, I think. I don't think the changes are enough for S tier, more like A tier. Yeah, it's like the changes are good, but they don't really like break her. I'll give Respawn some props for this. I like when they make changes to characters and the changes reinforce like a better play style for the people that already play the character, but they're not necessarily going to bring in new people to play the character. They're like good quality of life changes for the character. Um, yeah, she's like a solid legend. I really think she's like she's similar to like Alter, where like her kit is one of the most unique in the game. You can't really get a character in Apex that has recon with a passive, movement like a skirmisher, the tactical, and like fragging capabilities with the ultimate like an assault. She really mixes everything together. And then she also gets a little control in there because her upgrades, you can scan the console. So she has console and beacon scanning too. She's like a really good hybrid all around legend. She can do a lot, which is nice. And I like that they shrunk her hitbox. I think that was a huge problem with her in the past. Vantage went from troll to being decent now. Yeah. What weapon combo do you suggest for Vantage? That's a tough question too, because like you have a sniper already, so you might not need long range, but 100% in close range. So you're going to take like an R9 or P20 with Vantage. And I'd probably take something like a R301 Nemesis or Hemlock. I don't know if I would take Marksman with Vantage because you got her ult. But if you do take Marksman, I think that's fair too, just because you got the tactical or the passive like pinging and stuff. See a little bit further. Yeah, Noah's got it. Exactly. You don't need long range with the ult. Yeah. Maybe like a G7 might be better than like 30-30 because G7 I feel like is a little bit more usable in close range if you are going to take that type of weapon. Ash. Uh, Ash is pretty good. Not gonna lie, not a lot has changed with her. Again, just so you guys are aware, Ash actually had a buff in her passive, which is nice. It's 8 second for the cooldown of the dash instead of 10. I think that's good. That makes her feel a little bit more fun to use again. I really didn't like when they nerfed it from 5 to 10. It felt way too strong. So going back to 8, I think it's good. But they kind of brought down her skill ceiling and her tactical. The tether, it says, is not going to pull quite as hard now. So that's good. I think as like if you're going up against an Ash. And then they moved the upgrades around. The dual breach is now level 2. And HP upon a knock is now a level 2 upgrade. And her level 3 upgrades are the tactical snares. Ash is now high A, not S. Ash is S plus. Ash is high A. Ash is still S. Yeah, I'm gonna put her in S. I think. I mean, let's be real. I'm really just talking about if I would rather Ash or Ballistic. And honestly, both of these legends are kind of a must pick. I think we're actually in a little bit point where with the legend meta, we're a little singular in the meta of the legends. And just so you guys know, this is intentional on Respawn's part. We've gone from support craziness with double small heals and a lot of support abilities to assault meta to skirmisher meta. Now we're kind of in a phase where we're definitely in like a little bit more of a movement, like assault meta. I mean, let's be real, guys. There's a reason why 35% of Masters and Apex Predators are picking her. That's kind of just it. 35%. How is that even possible? Does anyone know how these pick rates even work? Wouldn't one person on every time, if one person on every team picks Ash, wouldn't that be 33.3%? Right? And Stan has a great point. Imagine being characters so strong that they only take your double dash and you are still OP. Yeah. Honestly, if you didn't have any of other Ash's other abilities, or you had that dash, she's still pretty solid. Yeah, I don't know. She's very good. Pretty interchangeable in terms of how you want to like look at the game. Like Ash, Ballistic, Alter, all very good. All these S tier legends are very good. One Ash on every team in every game. Yeah, like she's basically a must pick. If you're not picking her, you're at a disadvantage. Pretty sure it's an error in the counting. That could be. I wonder if there's like less squads, right? If there's not like if you got a couple duo teams and people are taking Ash, there's like 21 teams. Like maybe that's increasing your pick rate. Either way, 35% is crazy. Again, I said it earlier, Pathfinder was like 20 to 25%, and they nerfed him. In a lot of ways, they just gave Ash a couple buffs, and she's 35%. So, all right, Watson has a lot of changes and is arguably the most interesting change of the season for me. So you guys are aware, Watson now. Passive Spark of Genius, 50% faster ult consumption. Nice. Excel consumption. Passive shield regen increased to 2. I don't think that was necessary, but awesome. Tactical perimeter security. Basically, fences are hard to destroy now. You can place fences down faster without having the ultimate down to get them recharged. Fences actually slow people that are like breaching through them, which is nice. Like Ash Dash and Sparrow Double Jump. Fences across doors, electrify doors now. They stun enemies if they touch the door or kick it, which is awesome. Which is why I think that gives Rampart a little bit more use. Doors are not exploding if they open into the fence, which is kind of a little bit of a buff, I think, for the people inside. They just the ult just generates arc stars now by default. She now has access to all the support perks, so she's a controller character with all the support perks as well if she wants to. She can also get her ult back faster if you're damaging people. Kind of like her every gun is basically like accelerator now if you take that perk. Scroll down a little bit. And then upgrades for level 3. Gain double small med healing if you want even more healing capabilities, or you can get double ult health and healing rate and capacity. Yeah. That's a lot. That is a lot. I'm gonna put her in S, just so we're consistent. I had her in B at the start of the season because I felt like we were going into an assault skirmisher meta, and that was true. We were in that for a little while. Small med healing is OP as hell. Yeah. She can do it all. She has a lot of power. I guess if you're playing pubs, she's like more of a maybe like an A. Like you don't really need Watson, but if you're ranking and you're really trying to get placement, you're really trying to get like your goal. Like if you're a silver player trying to get platinum or something, like you're really trying to get there and you're trying to like make your games worth it, then yeah, she's gonna be good. She might not be that high of a use legend in Masters and Pred, just simply based on how the game is played at those high ranks. I think that's fine, but again, we're talking about Masters Pred players. It is not everyone. I'm really looking at ranked as a way to play more strategically and try to get to those high ranks. If I'm doing like a Master Pred tier list, there's gonna be like a few legends in S, and a lot of people are gonna be like CD, yeah, or Gas Daddy tier. So let's just go through this one more time. Gas Daddy, he's in his own tier down here on the bottom. Maybe he could be D tier. We were kind of doing this for the memes. C tier, Bloodhound, Seer, Crypto. I think it's pretty prevalent that the recons need a little bit of a buff. Seer and Valkyrie are kind of an exception, but the advantage. But the pure like scanner recon legends are weak right now. B tier, Gibby, Bang, Catalyst, Octane, Bangalore, my God, Mad Maggie, and Horizon. All solid legends, not crazy. All these legends have had better days. They're not bad though right now. A tier at the bottom, we're gonna have Mirage. He's like a borderline A, B plus for me. Wraith, Rev, Vantage, Fuse, Valk, Loba, Conduit, Rampart, Pathfinder. All really good legends that you can't go wrong with. A lot of these characters in A tier are a little bit better in pubs or a little bit better in ranked and maybe a little bit worse in pubs or a little bit worse in ranked. Really kind of depends on the mode of the player. I think Gibby could be A tier in your opinion. Yeah, I mean, definitely that's possible. And then S tier, I got Watson, Sparrow, Newcastle, Lifeline, Alter, Ash, Ballistic. Watson maybe could be like more in the middle. It kind of depends. I think if you're looking at the game right now, if you're wondering like my recommendation in terms of who you should be playing, Ballistic, Ash, and Alter, you have that squad. That is a good squad. I think Ballistic and Ash are 100% must picks. Your third player, probably should be Lifeline or Newcastle or Watson. That would be my third. So you have like the support perk or support like character. You have a little bit of like healing in there with Watson even. You could also swap out Ballistic or Ash for Sparrow. I think I would probably swap out Ballistic for Sparrow if you want that type of like a recon. You want if you're just not caring as much about who you're playing. And again, you could go Ballistic Ash with any of these A tier legends for like a ranked competitiveness. But if you're just pubbing, like you could go Ballistic Ash Pathfinder, Ballistic Ash Alter, Ballistic Path Sparrow, Ballistic Path Fuse. It really doesn't matter. They're going to be pretty good. So that is my legends and weapons tier list. Here's the legends. One more time, if you're wondering, here's the weapons. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the fact what you think. Guys, I'm hoping to be live like once a week on Sunday mornings like this. I hope you come back and chat with me. Next week, I'm thinking of doing, what was it? I was thinking about ranking every season of Apex Legends next week. So we'll go launch to season 25, talk about each season, what came out during those seasons. This is a video I've wanted to make for a while, but ranking every season, getting footage of every season, that's like a huge lift. So I might kind of prep, like get some trailers and all that combined, spliced together, and we'll talk about every season, rank every season. I think that'll be fun. Other rankings that we might do in future, like Sundays like this, maybe we'll do ranking every Legends and ranked Apex. We could rank every ability in the game. We could rank every tactical. We could rank every ultimate. We could rank or do like a how to find your main video. I wanted to do like a live stream where I play every character and I pick my mains. I like don't really have main legends right now. So that's something I kind of want to do. I even went as far to make like a couple graphics. It's something I've been saying I want to do for a while now. You can kind of see here. If I go to this, like I even made a thumbnail. So this is something I'm kind of cooking. Like I want to do finding a new main stream. So there's a few ideas. Drop a comment down below, guys, if there's anything you want to see me do on a live stream. I'm on YouTube right now. I have and was streaming on Twitch. Again, I'm like taking my architecture exams. I'm like super swamped. I've passed 2 of the 6 exams I need to take, but I have to study a ton. The exams are like 100 questions. They're 5-hour-long tests. They take a lot of energy out of me, and I can't I'll be honest, I can't focus on making content, making videos, and take these exams and study for everything. My brain is just like fried and overloaded. And also like I just moved in December. I have a new house I'm trying to make nice and pretty. So appreciate you all. Jelly, Kyle, Skills, Dr. Payne, everyone that chatted in chat, Zombie, all of y'all. I appreciate you guys. I will be back hopefully next week, maybe in 2 weeks. We will see. I will talk to y'all really soon. Have a good weekend. Have a good summer, guys. And we will chat really soon. Happy 4th of July if you're from America. If you're not, then I don't know. Enjoy your week. I wish you all the best. Can you give a shout out to Flavian? Flavian, what's up? Shout out. Yeah. Whew. All right, guys. Have a good one. See ya.